Andrew, do you know who Chase Young is?
Yeah, of course.
No. My point is, I don't either.
Hey, Drew,
These
it's your
defensive
boy.
teams. Kate Cunningham, what? Mike, just concede, man. It was about not being in the play-in, bro. Just concede. Just concede already.
We're back
What's going
with
on
another
with Mike's video?
I know.
the Stanley Cup playoffs, the NBA playoffs, and let's overreact on the NFL draft. Let's go. What's up, JAMM Packed? I'm MK. I'm your host. Here with JAMM 83, Jack SB, and TeslaMase. What's going on, fellas? How you guys doing tonight?
What's up?
What's going on?
What's up, guys?
Chilling. Hey, let's take this these first 20 seconds. Let's talk about the Stanley Cup playoffs. Tesla, I know we were talking earlier, kind of wild. I think wilder games than we've seen in the NBA and March Madness, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think there's been, if I'm not mistaken, 7 straight days with a game that reached overtime. Which is at least single overtime, let alone double overtime. So it's been pretty fun to watch.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I could imagine. John, what you got for us?
Okay, so let's take us through the first game. So let's see for tonight, and we'll work backwards. Right now we have the Avalanche and Stars. So the series is tied 2-2, but Stars have a commanding lead, 5-2 with 10 minutes left in the third period. I think for this series, the Stars they've been playing some pretty good defense. And I think their power or their forwards are really aggressive, especially in this game. I don't see this being a game that the Avalanche can come back with. Like Mike said, this year specifically in the playoffs, it's been pretty crazy. But I feel like the Stars are really working this game to their favor.
Nice.
We also had earlier the Panthers and Lightning. So Florida has a 3-1 series advantage as they win 4-2. Florida Panthers, the reigning champs, really look good in this series. I think at the beginning of the season, the Lightning had all the momentum, and I felt like they just kind of made it into the playoffs, but the Panthers seem to be the stronger team in the series.
John, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't the Panthers get a couple guys back in this series that are pretty heavy hitters for them?
Yeah, and I think they're getting healthy at the right time. I think their defense is definitely strong too, and it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard for the Lightning to get past this team. It really is. I think Florida takes the series rather easily, either in this next game or the game after. We also have the Kings and Oilers. So I know they play tomorrow, but yesterday's score was 4-2-3 in overtime. Oilers ended up winning this one that hurts for me as a Kings fan and a couple of us King fans. I know there's some more out there, but there's still plenty of series to go. It's been a very exciting series. Mike, have you caught any of this?
Yeah, it's called No Lead is Safe. It's actually been very, very entertaining. I just don't get why the Kings go defensive in the third period when they got a 3-1 lead yesterday, and it's like so not their game plan, and I don't know why they keep doing it. So it's a little frustrating, I guess, if you're a fan of the Kings to watch them go down that route. But it's been an amazing series. I mean, literally no lead is safe. It's been super fun to watch.
Yeah, I think the problem with the Kings is any team coming at them with flurries of shots or flurries of offense, they get jittery. And I've also seen in the last couple games, especially towards the third period, that they get some late line changes, and that doesn't do them any favors if they're going to play the defensive game. So I think it's a great call out. We also have on the East, Washington Capitals and Montreal Canadiens. So yesterday, the Capitals won that game 5-2. Washington has a 3-1 lead here. Washington's always been an offensive juggernaut. Can't see the Canadiens doing anything to get forward here, but yeah. Mike, did you happen to watch that game?
Yeah, the comeback win by Washington yesterday, down 1-2, and got 4 goals in the third period. I mean, that's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I mean, if you want to talk about ripping someone's heart out, that's it. Hey, Mike, Dylan's asking you ready. Should I say yeah, right?
Yep.
I'll go
Tell
back
him
to
to jump on. It looks like while we wait for him to jump on, it looks like the East is pretty lopsided. 3-1 leads by almost every. Let's see. 3-1 leads by almost every team or in every series, whereas the West everybody's tied 2-2.
Haven't the Blues outscored the Jets 12-3 in the last 2 games or something?
I think it's the opposite. I think Jets are the ones outscoring the Blues, right?
Well, because the Blues beat the Jets 5-1 in the last game, and then the game before that wasn't it 7-1 or something, 7-2.
Uncle Drewski, welcome in. Welcome
Yeah, it was 7-2. Yeah,
what's
that's
up,
good.
guys?
What's up, Drew?
I'll bring you in on the during the NBA stuff, bro. You can mute yourself until then.
Sounds good.
Unless you know hockey.
Oh, and I also saw.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm Canadian, guys. Come on.
I don't know how. I saw a stat the other day. It was the Capitals are the only team in NHL history to have a losing series record when they're up 2-0.
Really?
Yeah, they're they win 40% of the time when they're up 2-0. Only 40% of the time.
Wow. That's wild, dude.
I was
wild.
What? You have a 2-0 lead? What do you mean?
All right, we brought somebody in to hopefully give you guys a run for your money in the NHL. Welcome, Dylan. How you doing tonight? Hold on, you're muted, bro. You're gonna have to unmute yourself on the.
There we go. All right,
there we go. Welcome in, man.
Thanks.
We're glad you're still alive after the Kings game,
dude. I almost offed myself. that was a rough game.
How are you feeling in that series?
Honestly, Kings in 7. It's going to a 7-game series for sure. And the only reason I say Kings in 7 is because of the home ice advantage. Kings are the number 1 home team in the NHL this year, and that's the only reason I'm saying Kings in 7 is because they can play at home. If they couldn't play at home, or if they didn't have the home ice advantage, there's no way. So I don't see Kings going past round 2. Unless they play Minnesota, because they would have home ice advantage with Minnesota. But if Vegas takes that series, then Kings lose home ice advantage, and I don't see them going past round 2. The only thing is if they beat Edmonton in round 1, it could be a huge motivation boost that could carry them through to the Stanley Cup.
Hey, confidence is everything.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, they've lost 3 of the last 4 years. They're not doing so hot on these last 2 games. Well, actually, they are doing really well in these last 2 games. They just take their foot off the gas in the third period. It's looking like Todd McClellan's behind the bench again. And it's like, are we Jim Hiller or are we Todd McClellan? Todd McClellan was fired for a reason. So Jim Hiller needs to find his own, way here. And playing the old Todd McClellan way clearly didn't work the last 3 years. So taking the foot off the gas in the third is not good. But Kings have held the lead in almost every game, other than the third game where they went down 2-0, but came back up by 1 goal, lose it in the third period. So
rough. Yeah. Absolutely rough.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I thought I heard during that Minnesota game yesterday that they've never advanced past the first round. Is that right?
Minnesota?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I feel like I heard something like that recently too, but I'm not 100% sure on that.
Yeah, because I know I was watching that game in Vegas. That was a pretty good game. I was gonna say wild game, but I thought that would be too accurate. But it was a pretty incredible game. I think it went into overtime too, and Vegas. I mean, the Wild looked like the better team, to be honest. But I thought I heard the announcer say once or twice that they've never even had like won 3 games in the first round series.
Oh wow. Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
The Western Conference is extremely tough. I mean, all the series outside of Stars and Avs, which I think they're playing right now, I don't know if that one's over yet or not. But they're all tied 2-2. So there's really no team out of all 4 of those that are emerging as, the series is locked. Like it's going to come down to games 6 and 7 in every single one of those series. So
who's your favorite to come out of the West?
One team that's emerging is just not true, right? So everybody should be feeling confident and feeling good because everybody's got 2 wins. At the same time, everybody should be a little bit nervous and sweating because everybody has 2 losses. So I mean, at the end of the day, like you just don't know how this is going to pan out. And playoff hockey is like any other sport in the playoffs. Like people elevate, people fall off, right? Some people choke in the playoffs, and others teams elevate. So last couple of years, Kings have choked. I'm hoping this is their year to elevate.
Who's coming out of the West?
I've got the Dallas Stars. As much as I'm not a huge fan of the Stars, I have the Stars winning that series. I've got Vegas. I think Minnesota is a really good team, and they have really stepped it up. But I think Vegas has a lot of that veteran. They won the Cup a couple years ago, right? So I have Vegas in that series. Like I said, I have Kings in 7. Who's the last one? It's
Jets and Blues.
Jets and Blues. Okay, that one's been a little bit more surprising for me. But Jets being that they have the President's Trophy this year, that seems like the obvious choice. However, over the last 10 years, that's been a curse. So you don't want the President's Trophy because that definitely means you're not winning the Stanley Cup. So and Blues have just been absolutely on fire towards the end of it.
This is a ritual. What up, weirdo? Welcome back.
Weirdo.
Welcome back.
What's up, weirdo? Still don't know who you are, weirdo.
As far, what about you, John, Mike? Who's coming out of the West? Who do you guys have coming out of the West?
So I picked Vegas. I picked Vegas at the beginning. I'm gonna stick with it, but versus Minnesota, man, I was not liking. I think offensively, Vegas can hang with anyone. But I am a little worried about their defense and their goalie play from what I've seen. But I defer because I really don't know too much about. I just love watching playoff hockey.
Fair enough.
Yeah, Fair enough, John. I like that they're highlighting the guy who has the puck now. That's
easier to track.
I'm like, oh, he's got it. Okay, I thought I saw it over there. So that's been very helpful to me.
Yeah, I was in Vegas watching that Knights game, and that game was crazy. I was disappointed in the Knights play because I felt like that one they should have taken that one a little bit handlier than handling it in OT. I think I have the same. I have the Knights advancing. I have the Kings advancing, and the Blues. The Blues are on fire right now. So
nice. East looks pretty lopsided as far as series go. Everybody seems to be up 3-1.
I'm gonna go Jets just so you guys just to go against you guys.
That's pretty common here on the podcast. Mike always goes against the grain. Who do you guys got coming out of the East?
Maple Leafs choke again. That's my guess. They're up 3-1 right now. Ottawa put it away yesterday. Was yesterday or 2 days ago. And I think Leafs. I actually do think Leafs get through the first round, but I don't think they make it past the second. Leafs are known for choking. They choke again. The Florida game today was pretty crazy. Florida was down most of the game, and then came back and win. I think 4-2 or 5-2. That was crazy. I didn't get to watch the whole thing, but again, another veteran team, Stanley Cup champion, recently, and so. And they've been the Stanley Cup twice in the last 2 years. Lost the first year, won the second. I honestly thought the battle for Florida would be a little more lopsided than it is. I didn't think it'd be this close. I thought Panthers would sweep that series, but we're at 3-1 right now. So Tampa Bay got on the board on that one. So, and then Capitals and Montreal. I'm biased. U.S. teams and Capitals are owning it. So, and they were about to take the President's Trophy, right? It was them and the Jets. So, look, I'm bitter that Ovi took Gretzky's goal. However, what an amazing achievement, right? And for that, go Capitals. Like Ovi deserves it. He's worked hard. He's just been an amazing goal scorer. It's kind of been interesting to watch his play. Like you can tell he's slowed down, but man, can that guy score? Like get him in the spot, in his shooting lane and get him the puck and he's going to score. Like he doesn't need to move. Like let everybody else move around him. It is wild what he can do.
Fair enough.
And then Carolina and Devils 3-1. I'm surprised Devils even got a win. Honestly, I think everybody counted the Devils out like from day one. So Carolina definitely emerges from that series.
Who's your guys' favorite out of the East? Is it Panthers? Are they going to repeat?
3 years in a row? That'd be pretty wild. I don't think so.
Has that ever been done?
I don't know.
In the NHL?
I don't think so.
3 straight finals?
No idea. That would be pretty crazy.
I'll have to look that up.
I think Capitals make it this year from the East.
Oh. Get Ovi a trophy.
Yeah.
Get him a win.
I don't want them to get the trophy. I think
just want to
do the Stanley Cup playoffs. The only way I would want them getting the trophy is if the Oilers are on the other side.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Oh man. Well,
I'm gonna go Hurricanes. I got Hurricanes.
Yeah, Hurricanes.
Ooh,
man, I would have said the same thing too. Yeah, I think the Hurricanes are going to go.
Oh, I'm outnumbered.
You think they're going to win it all?
I think they'll no. Look, I'll never knock the Kings, man. Like when the Kings are out, it'll be different.
You want
but
them
I'll
in the championship.
But I just think that they're the strongest team. I think the Kings can get past the Panthers, right? I think that game that series would go to 7, but I think the Kings can get past the Panthers.
Okay, fair enough. I follow you on that. Mike, who do you got? You going?
I got Hurricanes. Versus Vegas.
Screw you, Mike.
Sorry, guys.
I'm sorry. I'm a guest. I'm sorry.
I'm more of yeah. My wife's she likes the Ducks, so I gotta support her.
Oh gosh.
But no, I mean I don't mind the Kings. I wouldn't mind seeing the Kings go. I don't know what these 2 losses do to them mentally. Like, I mean, it's 3 years in a row, and now they should have won at least last game for sure. I mean, how do you let a goal go in with 28 seconds? Like, the guy just needs to literally clear it out of his zone. I mean, I think he was trying to dribble it up and try to get an empty netter, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, I know, like I said, I don't know much about hockey, but it's like with 30 seconds left, like, just get rid of it. Like, get it out of your zone and take up another 15 seconds, right? Like,
I feel bad for Byfield. He's had a really good year. He's really emerged as such a great player, and I think he's going to be I hope he's with the Kings for a long time. I do see him being with the future with the Kings. He made a mistake. He's still a young player, and at the end of the day, I think they've got some really great leadership on the Kings. Everybody's kind of rallied behind him. Like we talked about it, and you got to get over it, and it's true. You just got to move on to the next game, right? He screwed up. It is what it is. Ultimately, though, there were 2 two things that really, well, three, I guess, that really decided that game. One is Hiller. Hiller needs to stop playing the defense in the third period. And the problem is he's not admitting it. Even the media is pressing him. Like, why can't you guys close the game out? Why can't you, play offense in the third period? A lot of it is the team is gassed. He's shortened the bench, which all teams do. But at the end of the day, I think there was like 2 or 3 defensemen that got like 3 minutes on the ice, and then the full fourth line got like 2 minutes or 3 minutes the entire game. You just can't do that. Like, it's just, you're not going to get anywhere. So I think Hiller's costing the Kings some games here by playing defense. Go back to game 2. That's how you close out a game. I mean, 6-2, commanding defeat. I don't even think the Oilers got the chance to pull the goalie because it was just such a commanding lead in the third period. That's how you close out a hockey game. Second, the missed trip. There was obviously a trip. I think it was with like a minute left, and right in front of the ref. Ref didn't call it. That would have been a power play for the Kings. Game's over. That same ref screwed up the Kings Oilers last year and did not ref another NHL game the rest of the season, the rest of the playoffs.
Wow.
NHL said nope. So here he is again, screwing up a game, completely changed the momentum. So missed opportunity.
And I heard he's the second cousin of like Connor McDavid or something like that.
Figures. Because he's also, okay, so that goes to my third point. He's the one who called the penalty on Gavrikov against Connor McDavid for a trip that wasn't a trip, which cost the Kings the game. Granted, Kings played like crap in the overtime. Complete defense. You have to score a goal. You can't just sit back on your heels. But ultimately, that horrible call led to the Oilers going on the power play and led to the game-winning goal. So, but ultimately, when you look at the whole picture, it falls on Hiller, and they can't close out a game in the third period.
I've never understood in any sport teams letting off the gas. I mean, isn't the whole point of playing defense to stop whoever it is from scoring? So
a step further with this series specifically, like I would want that statement. Like, I want to score 6 goals per game. It's the Oilers.
Yeah.
We want to crush them. Like, we want to suffocate them so they, they're making their own mistake, their own mental mistakes. Right? That's what I want, especially in this series. So, yeah, it's been.
I would say defense is a strong offense. Like that is, keep them out of the zone. Go get more goals.
Right.
You go get more goals. You don't have to sit back on your heels and play defense. I think Jim Fox said it last night during the game. When you're playing offense, you're not tired because you're just go, go, go. When you're playing defense, though, it's exhausting, right? Yeah. So the problem is that they're sitting back on their heels. They're allowing Connor McDavid the space to come in, and then they're just playing defense. And you get enough shots on goal, one's going to go in.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to happen.
Yeah. It just lucky bounces. I mean, anything can happen. You get enough shots on goal. Yeah. Dylan, we appreciate you hopping on and being a guest. We would love to have you on more often on these, especially during the playoffs, man. So if you want to, let me know. We're gonna move on to the NBA. You're more than welcome to stay as well if you want to.
I'm not a basketball player fan, so you guys have at it. I love talking hockey, and yeah, have a good one.
All right, have a good night, man.
So Dylan was kind of saying, like, he was saying that he recommends playing guys a little bit more in a half, right? I think JJ Redick must be listening to that because let's talk about overusage on a 40-year-old body, and then blame that 40-year-old body like he's getting roasted on Twitter for not having any gas in the tank. Come on, Drew. The bat light's going.
Wait, are you talking to me? Are you talking about LeBron already?
It's NBA time.
No.
I mean, I know you. We're talking about how the first time in playoff history a coach did not make a sub an entire half. Like,
that was crazy.
So, if we're talking Kings Timberwolves Game 4, that game is on JJ Redick, in my opinion. It was just not. And maybe I'm wrong. I've heard other people say it was actually their only move. They basically are saying they can't trust their subs. They don't have a bench. The Nuggets are having that strategy and also failing. So I think they're gonna have to play the NBA players get a rest. Play
the whole robotic thing is happening to you, Drew. I'm pretty sure that same
between having legs.
It's gonna keep going though. You're gonna muscle through that.
I'm pretty sure that's the exact same message the Lakers are getting from JJ, though. It's not coming across.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad he stopped talking about that, because there's no way that was a good move. Like I get playing them a lot of minutes, but not.
Right.
Playing, I mean,
but I heard
immediate timeouts coming in the next. You give your stars 45 extra seconds plus immediate timeout. Like, I mean, I don't care if you can't trust the bench. Just tell them to go over there and take a 24-second shot clock violation and get your star an extra 45 seconds. I mean, yes, shortening rotations happens all the time in basketball, but never have we seen no rotation. I mean, literally no rotation. So I think this is on your coach of the year candidate. Has instantly been removed from the top 5. And there's 16 teams left. Well, not even 16. But we'll put him down there in the bottom half for sure after that coaching performance.
Just a heads up. Rockets are up 94-92 to the Warriors with 6:46 left in the game.
It's a good one.
Wow. Warriors were leading. But for me,
Jimmy Butler's back too.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Drew. For you. Only
Jimmy
for you.
Butler. No, I was gonna say with Redick, I just really thought that I was a little worried because I heard some of his post-conference discussion talking about some of the issues, and this stuff. I could learn from this. I'm good.
Is this what I sound like when I come down the hill?
I also think that. Yeah, you do. My concerns too is that one of my concerns too is defenses.
Right.
I'm gonna give you some extra time to head back, Drew, and then when you're in the clear with your reception, then we'll talk back to NBA. So I'm gonna transition right now. Let's overreact on the NFL draft, so that gives Uncle Drewski enough time to head further down the hill, and then we'll come back to the NBA. Sound cool?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, mute me. All right. In your guys' opinion, who came out on top on the draft? Team wise, who had the best draft?
Browns
had a really good draft.
You saying Browns just for Shedeur?
No,
I'm saying for fleecing Jacksonville.
Around.
Okay, fleecing Jack. I'll give you that, man. They completely fleeced Jacksonville on that for sure. But overall team, like who do you think had the best draft? Browns. John, who do you think had the best draft?
I thought the Ravens had a really good draft. I also think low-key, if we were to talk about like a dark horse team that did really well, like the Falcons. The Falcons had a really good draft.
Fair enough, Jack.
I like what the Falcons did too. I mean, their first 3 picks: Jalen Walker, James Pierce, Xavier Watts. I was waiting for Xavier Watts to drop, dude. I don't know why they were taking forever to pick him, but I like him a lot.
I saw this video. Speaking of the Falcons and the DC coordinator.
Yeah, I just said you guys like that. What the Falcons did there too.
They're just messing with the draft. They're just messing with everybody. So for those who don't know, one of the coordinators for the Falcons, his son found an open iPad and got Shedeur Sanders' number off of it to perform a prank call. And in that prank call was his buddy basically was pretending to be a GM from another team and saying, "Hey, we're drafting you in this next pick. Oh, sorry, you're going to have to wait a little longer," and then hung up, right? Which completely steals from the moment or whatever. I mean, it is what it is. It was stupid of him to do that, considering it was an unlisted number. He already, the son already went out and apologized, called Shador, apologized, and Shador accepted his apology. But in his apology, he's like, dude, I completely took away from your moment. Like, you worked so hard to like get drafted, and I know you were looking forward to, you know, having that moment, and I kind of stole that away from you. And it seemed like a sincere apology. I obviously don't know what words were spoken at all, but I know TeslaMase was glad to see him slide a little bit, maybe a little bit of humble pie get eaten. But when it's all said and done,
afterwards, he's the biggest through the biggest party of a 5th rounder I've ever seen. So
that's true.
Hey man, you got the money. You got the money.
True, but I mean, usually you don't get. Usually, a 5th rounders don't get like other NFL players to show up to said party. So
that is true.
I don't know, man. I don't think he's as good as everyone was, but I also don't think he's as bad as you know what his draft position says. So I feel bad and I don't feel bad at the same time. Like, I do think you need to be a little bit more humble. And I mean, it's just like any interview that we've ever had, right? Like, we go to a job, we go to a place, it's like you put on your best behavior and that's how you should act. And the reality is, these kids going into that situation where they're meeting with teams and coaches, like I'm sorry, you may be the best thing ever, but the reality is you want to impress. And you know, when asked who your favorite player is, you don't say me first and my dad second. Like, you know, like I don't know. There's ego. There's a level of cockiness that I do think every player needs, but I don't think it should go beyond that egotistical and
yeah, I think it's
especially
a fine
when he hasn't
line,
really
though.
done anything. Sorry, Drew.
I agree with that, because he hasn't done anything, right? But it's kind of a fine line. I think one of the famous things that happened at Cal State Fullerton, where I went to college for my undergrad, is they interviewed Damian Lillard to be on their team, and they asked him who his favorite player was, and he said, Damian Lillard's my favorite player. And who he wanted to be like, he's like, I want to be me, and I want to be better than everyone else. And they thought, oh, he's cocky, we don't want him on our team. He goes to Weber. What is he, a 4th round draft pick in the NBA? Has an amazing college career. Like, would have been like his jersey would have been retired in the rafters of Cal State Fullerton right now. But they were like, no, he's too cocky. So I mean, like, I think there's a fine, and he hadn't done anything yet either. He was a high school player, an undersized guard from high school. I don't know. I think there is something to be said. Like, you want a player who's a little cocky, who believes in themselves, who isn't going to like feel crushed under the pressure. And I think that's kind of. And then the trade-off is, if you get somebody that's too much like that, then they're going to be unteachable, right? Not humble enough to learn and grow. So I get it, but I don't know if that's a good enough reason. I heard he sandbagged the interviews on purpose, though. Like, there was reports where he went to certain teams and he basically took the interview, but gave a terrible interview on purpose because he did not want them to pick him. The problem is, this is a small world. Like, these execs probably talk. They're in the same circle. They have, I mean, just me as a boss, you know, people call me all the time and like, hey, what about this person? What's going on there? And I'm honest. I have to give honest reviews of what people have said. So, and how they work and what they do. And so, I don't know. Probably a mistake on his part overall, but I don't know.
I just think he's living too much in daddy's shadow, to be honest. Like that's my thing. You don't hear you know, little Manning, right? Archie Manning saying, "Oh, well, my uncle was one of the best college quarterback or professional quarterbacks of all time," right? Like it's just like I said, and I don't know. I just feel like prove yourself. Like, I know it's look at Bronny even, right? Like, I know it's a completely different comparison, but the reality is the kid shuts up and goes to work, right? Like, you don't hear interviews from him. You don't hear him saying I'm the best ever. And very much, you know, he probably could have, right? His dad, you know, is the baby goat, and if he, you know, this is the baby goat, I guess. So He doesn't claim he is, right?
He's the mini baby goat.
Mini baby goat. Maybe even not even the same. Maybe not even the same animal, but no. I mean, I'm just
He's a
saying,
matter
like,
baby.
like to me, that's an example. Like he's had limelight on him. It's probably been a tough life, right? And same with Shadur, right? Like it's probably been a very difficult life.
You are right about that. I think Bronny's way more likable. Like I can't help but root for just and everyone on the team too. He had one game where he hit a three, his first three, and the whole team's cheering and everyone's excited. Like it's pretty impressive. He has to be a good kid for everyone to kind of get behind him like that. But
the question is, do you want somebody that's got a little bit of attitude as a quarterback? Like, don't you want that guy to have a little bit of cockiness and a little bit of swag? I'm like, I can count several quarterbacks that don't necessarily have that and have done terrible.
Right, but the key word you said is a little bit, right?
Yep.
And not to mention it, but Tom Brady was like that, right? He's got a little bit of swag, but Tom Brady wasn't like that out of college, right? Like I mean,
True, I'll
he
give you that.
he developed into that. And you look at like all your all-time greats. Yes, they all had a little bit of cockiness, but the reality is they earned it, right? They earned it, and so now they may have played it up even more than they could. And the reality is like he's 1-0 at Colorado. Like, so how do you say you've already earned this because your dad's a Hall of Famer? That's what makes you earn it. Like to me, I don't know. That's just my opinion on it.
I also
think
think
definitely do want him to be
Go ahead, John.
Going back to Drew's statement, saying that if Lillard went to Cal, that they would have probably hung his jersey up, right, and retired his number. He probably would have won a title though versus Colorado hanging up Shador's number, and he didn't win nothing really. So he had to win a record, but maybe that was it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you.
What was Colorado before he got there, though? I mean,
terrible. Same thing with Jackson State.
So as long as you make the playoffs, then it's okay to retire a number. I mean, come on, right? Like,
not even
playoffs. Not even playoffs.
Don't retire the number, but
like he didn't make the playoffs. Like they like what are we debating here? Like he didn't make them anything. He got them to like 7 wins or 10 wins rather than 8 wins. So, I mean, like it's not like he did anything with them. They got prime games because his dad's a coach and talks a bunch of crap, and they got their spotlight on ESPN, but that has nothing to do with it. They're gonna get those next year.
I don't think I think the whole premise of them even retiring his jersey had nothing to do with the record. It had everything to do with him breaking the school's records, and he ended up doing that in the 2 years that he was there. That was the only reason why they decided, man, we need to retire this guy's jersey. What I'm gonna end up asking you guys how you guys feel on your prospective team's draft. But before I do that, I'm gonna let you guys think about that for a minute. I heard a take about how there's a reason why the same few teams are always drafting first in the draft, and it's because they make terrible drafting decisions and they always end up having losing records, i.e. Giants, i.e. Jags, Cleveland. There's always at least 4 or 5 teams that are in that top 6, we'll say, drafting, and they always try to make a flashy pick. And I only bring that up because Jacksonville moved up to that number 2 spot, gave up an arm and a leg to Cleveland to go get Travis Hunter. Why? Well, what is that going to do for you outside of give you the headache of like, man, I'm going to have to play him both ways. Sure, he's got a little bit of skill to him, but if we can't protect Trevor Lawrence, what's the pick going to do anyway? Or if we decide we're going to play him on defense more than offense, that's not going to help Trevor Lawrence anyway. Is the headache, or is there any backing to actual stuff. What boggled my mind, by far the steal of the draft, if you were to ask me, was the Eagles' first round pick. How 31 teams let the second best linebacker, or arguably the best linebacker in the draft, to drop all the way to the Super Bowl champions is beyond me. Like, I get your team needs holes filled, but you get, I mean, to fill one of their biggest holes at linebacker. So you're telling me that the best linebacker out of college is now going to tandem with, with the guy that just re-signed for them? Like, come on, man! Like, what are we doing? How did Jack? How did you feel after that first round with that pick? Do you think they should have went a different direction? Are you happy with that pick?
I am. Yeah, no, I mean, I was looking at it and, yeah, like you were saying, because, like, I mean, outside of Jalen Walker, who the Falcons took, I think, Campbell was, the best linebacker there. So I was like, dang, okay. Because I was shocked by a few of, like, just like a few other picks in the first round, before the Eagles. But no, overall, like, I think the Eagles did a decent job, especially in like those first couple picks. After that, I didn't really know the rest of the guys that they picked besides like Kyle McCord, but
happens. That happens.
Yeah.
So what are you grading your team
overall across the whole thing? I'd probably give it say like a B plus, A minus.
Okay. Drew, you need more time on the Bengals. I'll move on to Tesla. What do you got? How do you feel about the Niners?
So I did not want the Niners to get a receiver or a running back early, but I also didn't want them to necessarily draft 7 rounds of defensive guys before we actually address the offensive line issues. So I read a tweet today by someone that said the Eagles have 7 good offensive linemen and still got 2 more before the Niners drafted 1 when we need offensive line help. So defensively, I think we did what we needed to do. We went the right way. We got the right guys, but quite frankly, we have a crappy offensive line. So I'm very, very nervous about being able to stop anyone. I don't know if I lock up Purdy now because he might get injured after, no one to protect him. So I'm extremely worried about that side of the ball. I also feel like some of the defensive guys we reached a little bit, especially early on in the draft. I was like, man, we have all this draft capital. I thought we'd put something together, kind of go after a bigger name or two. Mm-hmm. Especially, early on or even trade back some, but it seems like we just kind of just pick to pick. And like I said, I know Salah wanted a bunch of defensive guys. It was a lot. It was a lot early on, especially.
Definitely.
I don't know.
Drew?
And I don't know how many are instant starters when we realistically need them because
who's getting plugged in right away. Drew, who you got? Wait. Number one, which team are you going with? You going with the Bengals? Or you going with the Dolphins?
We're gonna stick with the Bengals.
We're sticking with the Bengals. How did you feel about the draft, man?
Pretty good actually. I mean, we know what the Bengals' problem was, right? Last season, they struggle on defense.
Lack of defense.
Yeah, they got a lot of guys from the SEC. So, I mean, we got a guy from Texas A&M, the edge guy, a linebacker from South Carolina. Well,
and then a dude from Clemson. Yep.
Clemson, Georgia. We got a guard from that's an offensive guy, but it doesn't matter. We got a lot of SEC guys. Clemson, Georgia, a guy from Miami. I don't know. I think they did the right thing. They stuck with getting offensive line, defensive players, which what they needed. And I don't know the running back at all at Texas Tech, so you guys would have to tell me about that. But I never watched him. But
something to think about as moving forward, that first round pick and Shamar Stewart, your edge rusher. A lot of people are saying that's not a good sign for Trey Hendrickson and re-signing him. So I've heard that coming across my feed. Hopefully they can get a deal done and pair him with Trey Hendrickson. That probably be most ideal considering he led the league in sacks last year. But if not, I mean, you can always send him to the dark side, man. We won't mind having him. John, how'd you feel? How'd you feel after the draft, man?
So probably not great as a Niners fan. A little disappointed, and I'm hoping our cornerback proves me wrong. But disappointed that we didn't get a taller cornerback. From everything that's been said about him, he's sticky, he's quick, he's just small. The height worries me only because the NFL gets taller and bigger, not shorter and not bigger. So that worries me a little bit. I think we already have 3 quarterbacks, and I think spending a draft pick on a quarterback is frustrating because it just doesn't set a good precedence, in my opinion. If you're going to spend a draft pick on a quarterback in the 7th round, you might as well have just gotten an undrafted quarterback. If you're looking for a camp arm, just do that. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. I much rather would have had an offensive lineman there because I'd rather take a flyer on multiple offensive linemen because we need it, like Mike said, versus a quarterback that probably won't make the team. And I don't mean to be rude, but I just don't think you will. So and then with our last pick, we chose a kick returner, which we have one in Cowing. So I just I'd love to have been a fly on the wall and seen what was a game plan in going into this thing and and really try to understand it, because I think it leaves a lot of Niners fans scratching their heads. So I would have graded us a D at best, maybe a D plus, but not thrilled about it. So we'll see.
Fair enough. Mike, I don't know if I got your grade.
I'm a C minus. C. I mean, I do like that we got some defensive linemen. I just feel like we got too many. We really concentrate on that side of the ball. So I'll give us a C to C minus.
Drew, I didn't get your grade either.
Oh, got to go with a solid B. B for Bengals.
Solid B.
You make it so easy.
Fair enough. And I know everybody's been waiting for this moment for me to break down the Raiders draft. I'm going to be very honest, and this has nothing to do with my bias to the Raiders. I will call out the Raiders as much as as fairly as I normally do. But this seems like a very Pete Carroll draft, and this was very. This was probably the most, or the only one of the only drafts that the Raiders have had where I didn't leave scratching my head. We didn't trade up. We didn't trade up to get a guy that ran under 4.3, right? The no name that went under 4.3, or we didn't draft. We didn't draft necessarily per need, although we did get our needs, if that makes sense. In the past, it was we need a quarterback. We got to get the quarterback now, or we need a cornerback. Who's the best cornerback out now? Last draft was, we needed a quarterback, but Brock Bowers is on the board at 9, so we're going to take the best athlete, the best available. And this draft, we knew they were going to shore up that running game. Pete Carroll loves to run the ball. I knew they were going to go running back. Genty is there. Perfect. It was the rest of the draft that kind of intrigued me more. As far as they went wide receiver with Jack Beck out of TCU. Huge guy. I mean, huge receiver. Real lanky guy. If he can end up being a number 2 or even number 1 receiver for the Raiders, that shores up our list of weapons, basically. With Genty in the backfield, Brock Bowers on the field, Jacoby Myers on one end, and this guy from TCU, We should have a couple of weapons. But then they went 2 offensive linemen, 2 defensive linemen. I'm like, oh yeah, it's about time we get the trenches right. My goodness, get right in the trenches. I've been saying this for years, even when I'm coaching. You cannot win games unless you can win in the trenches. If you're not able to run the ball, and Eagles proved it last year, if you're able to run the ball, you can do a lot of different things. Defense has to make you one-dimensional. They actually try to make you one-dimensional. And if they can't, or if they have to focus on stopping the run, that opens up a lot of things in the pass game. If they have to focus on stopping the pass, that opens up things in the run game. Okay, so I actually love what the Raiders have done. They didn't go for like super flashy. I'm glad they didn't go after Shedeur Sanders, even though he was on the board forever. Right? We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 picks before he even got drafted. Right? We passed him up 7 times. Like, we're okay, perfect. Thank you for not going over the flashy pick to like fill actual needs. And so I'm going with a B+ on ours. And conveniently enough, TeslaMase has turned his camera back on after the Raiders are done being talked about. Sushi. He heard my voice. So that's my cat.
No, I'm watching I went and watched this game. There's like 12 seconds left, so Houston ball down 1. So
my cat just lives at TeslaMase's house. He's technically my cat. For whatever reason, this cat loves me, and I don't know why. I'm not a real cat person. Don't listen to that, Sushi. Don't listen to that at all. Dude. NBA. Now
hold
that
on,
we can actually hear you.
Hold on.
My bad. Go ahead.
Real quick, Andrew said, "What has Colorado done?" I pulled up their last 10 years of schedule.
Yeah.
So last year they ended 9-4, right, with Dion. Year before with Shedeur and Dion, they were 4-8. Just so you know. Year before that, 1-11, 4-8 the previous year, 4-2. That was the COVID year. They were ranked 21. 5-7 for the previous 3 years, and then 10-4 the previous year to that. So 9 years ago, they were as high as 9-17. But so I don't think Shedeur's done anything that hasn't been done in the last 10 years. Is just the last little comment on that.
1-11 though, and then from 1-11 to 48 to 9-4. That's pretty decent turnaround after 2 years. But yeah, it could be done. I think that's more. Let's be fair. It's probably more of a Deion Sanders accomplishment though, of recruiting and bringing players in and stuff. So
I mean, they did have the number 2 pick in the draft, right? Play both positions. So I mean,
it's not. I really like him, man. I like his vibe. The whole Jacksonville, like, he seemed genuinely excited to be drafted by them, and just I don't know.
Yeah, because he didn't go to the Browns. I'd be excited too.
Because it's pretty nice weather.
Heck yeah.
I'm freezing.
I mean, he looked like he was celebrating, man. Like, I don't know. Anyways.
Ooh, Golden State's going to win.
How many seconds left? 4 seconds left? They
seconds.
only have one?
They missed, and Jimmy Butler got the rebound and got fouled. No timeout.
Jimmy Butler, man. He's just...
He's ecstatic. He's with Steph is what he is.
He's just a winner, man.
If you're the Rockets, who would you want taking your final shot? Just curious.
Fred VanVleet.
Rocket?
Yeah, they called a timeout with 13 seconds left and called Seguin, the 7-footer, and just had him back up Draymond.
You know what is it? The free throw line. Your last shot.
Yeah, I only want Sengun with the ball if he's got a clear path. If he doesn't, I don't want him that in his hands. I probably get
basically shot like a free throw line hook shot almost. I was kind of surprised.
Sengun's good, but do you really want to match up against, like, do you really want the guy being guarded by Draymond to take your last shot? Like, I don't know. I know Draymond's older, but he's still a
either
great
want
defender.
Jalen Green or I want Amen Thompson, just depending on, like, I don't want Amen Thompson shooting a 3. If it's a 3-pointer, I want VanVleet or Green. But if it's inside, I don't
true.
mind that Thompson or
Warriors are
Jalen
up 3 now.
takes a shot.
I'd probably take Van Vliet.
They're up. Warriors are up 109, 106. That's it. Looks like it's game.
Oh, so then Van Vliet then.
Yeah, you want Van Vliet to shoot this.
Eek. What? Oh, bro, still awake?
Hey.
What up, little bro? I thought you were hooked up in the sleep by now, man. Cavs ended up sweeping the Heat by a 55-point win today.
It's crazy.
Definitely took to heart. Kevin Love lost his father. There was definitely some emotion going into that game. I believe Donovan Mitchell even shouted him out in his post game comments, saying, I first and foremost, I want to give my condolences to Kevin Love and his family. But good for Cleveland, man. Good for Cleveland getting that sweep. Looks like Indiana's up 3-1. I don't think the Bucks have any chance, especially with Lillard and his torn Achilles, who got diagnosed. I think got diagnosed today. Yeah. Knicks lead 3-1 against the Pistons. I think Pistons are just trying to shore up how many people get thrown out of their game. Celtics are up 3-1 against the Magic. I don't think there's any chance there. Thunder get their sweep. They win the series, winning by 2 to the Grizzlies today. Then we got the Nuggets Clippers, man, tied 2-2.
Good one.
Golden State's now up 3-1. And Drew's Lakers are down 3-1. Is it going 7 games, Drew?
I think it's probably going 6, and I think Timberwolves are probably going to close it out.
You think so?
Yeah, I hope I'm wrong. I don't know if you feel like you got to play your starters the entire second half. I just says to me you're not good enough to win this series. Like, you're just not. So. In retrospect, I wonder if a lot of Laker fans are thinking that they should have let that trade go through, the Dalton Connect for Williams trade. Right after that happened, it was weird. Like, right after they said, "Oh, he's not healthy," well, the next day he's playing on the Hornets and he was putting up 20 and 10, and I'm sitting there like, he looks pretty healthy. I don't know why'd you guys want. Like, I don't know what the logic there was. And then they benched Dalton Connect for like the rest of the season. They didn't give him any minutes or let him develop, and I'm just kind of like. He's not like a young guard. He's a 24-year-old guy out of college. He's ready to play minutes now. He doesn't need a 4-year college guy. Doesn't need those rookie minutes. Like, let him play or move on. So I think some Laker fans, and including myself, is a little scratching their heads. Like, man, it would have been nice to have a 7'2" center out there playing with with an actual lob threat that can play some defense for us. But. Ultimately,
because I thought when that trade happened, a lot of Laker fans were happy to keep Dalton Connect, yourself included.
Well, I don't know. I did a video about it. You can go look. I don't know if I was that excited.
Was that before or after you called him to be Rookie of the Year?
I never, whatever. But
there's a video on it. Just
go look at the video, man.
We got receipts.
I got the receipts too.
I know.
Check it out, man. No, so I thought that whole thing was weird. I was kind of like, well, I like Dalton Connect, so hopefully, but then they didn't use him, so I don't know what's up with that. So I don't know if he did something or if there was some bad blood after the trade where it just wasn't quite fitting in. If it was just Luka just killed all his minutes, which is probably what really happened, but. I just think that if you think you have to play your starters for the entire second half of a playoff game, then you're not good enough to win the series.
Well,
so
okay, I have an issue with the way Luka was playing. I don't know if you guys saw, but it seemed like every time he would dribble it up the court, he'd call for the screen and he'd go to like that little corner between half court and the sideline, and they double him, but it's like, and then he'd pass it, and they got a bunch of open shots out of it, right? I mean, really, let's say it how it is. The Lakers lost that game because in the last 6 minutes they shot everything but one. One was a 3-pointer. They shot 47 of their 80 shots in 3-pointer, right? Like this is not the Golden State Warriors from a few years ago that's knocking down 25, 26 3-pointers a game. You can't have more than half of your shots in the NBA be 3-pointers. But that being said, like I felt like Luka would literally just dribble it up slowly, call for the screen, get the switch, and they double him, and then he just pass it out to the corner or from the corner because he was over basically like literally in no man's island. And he basically just throw it into to him, and it was like I don't know. I guess I just feel like, hey, why don't you attack off that pick and roll? You know what's going on.
Right.
For as aggressive he was the whole game, having 38 points, it's like he really deferred quite a bit. And it's not like Minnesota did anything different there towards the end. You knew that double was coming. LeBron just stood in the corner right there. It's really weird. I feel like he just kind of puts his own team to sleep at times with the as slow as it's going.
Here's my couple things. Number one, Ant-Man is just a dog, just a straight dog. Anybody, and I'll give props to anybody who is not only the top scorer on the offensive end, but does not back down to playing defense against their top scorer on the other side. Mm-hmm. Okay, now, if you look at it, my kudos ends up going to the coach. Okay, the coach of the Minnesota Timberwolves who said, look, here's what we're going to do. We're going to be aggressive, and we're going to be aggressive at a 40-year-old guy and the guy who got traded because he was, quote, out of shape. We're going to attack those two guys. Make somebody else beat us. We're going to be in your face. We're going to guard you 96, all 90, 92, 96 feet. We're going to full court press you the entire time. You're just going to feel us. Bam, bam. I'm like, I'm over 40, bro. Stop playing me like this, man. I'm tired.
Well,
go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that's the thing too. You're asking like why they're settling for threes at the end of the game, not going hard at the hoop. Well, they're in minute 46 versus minute 35 or whatever, what they should have been if they were in a rotation, right, in the end of the game, where they would have just sat for the first part of the fourth quarter and then come into the end of the fourth quarter to close out the game. Where they didn't have that. So you're right. I was some good defense. I think you're right on that. Edwards played out of his mind. I mean, like, all the things we were saying about why he's not ready, it was like, oh, maybe he is ready. Like, he had an amazing game. Didn't he have 43 points? He almost had as many points as they took 3-pointers, and the Lakers took 3-pointers in that game. It's a lot of head scratching.
Here's the thing that just I feel like Luka constantly gets a pass, right? I feel like he's constantly, oh, LeBron, lost him that game. Oh, LeBron, Luka. This game's on Luka. Even you and I, Andrew, are watching the last little bit of that game. You're like, why is he just shooting a 28-foot 3-pointer? Like, how is that the shot? And yes, he got him there. He had 38, but you know what? Like, that took everyone else out of rhythm. Like, let's call it what it is. His defense is a liability. Like, I watched some highlights today, and they're like, every single guy went at Luka, and you can't. You gotta play defense like it's game 7 when you're down, 1-2 in a series, and this is your game where your coach is literally going all in. I mean, when you're not subbing anyone, you're basically saying, I'm putting everything I have in this game, and he doesn't buckle down and play defense, and
right.
But no one's like calling him out, right? Like it's LeBron's fault, and why is LeBron backing down from man? That's the headline, and why LeBron stay in the corner? Like it's guy takes all of the blame and gets none of the glory when it happens. Is with this specific Laker team.
Fair enough. I'll give you that. I'll let you make that point. John's just over there cracking up. We hope you enjoyed this episode of JAMM Packed. Make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube at JAMM Packed Podcast. Click on that notification button to view us live. We're live every Monday night, 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Is Drew frozen on all of your guys' screen, or is it just me?
Oh yeah, no, he's frozen.
Okay.
Even when he was talking, his face was still the same.
I was going crazy. I was like, man, is my internet jacked up again? He's been frozen for a while. Okay.
No. I honestly think it's an AI video.
Guys.
Yeah,
I don't
that's why
even
I'm hear you talking. I know he's there, but I'm like, it's his picture is just him like frozen.
I don't even think that he's actually on. I think it's an AI video. They're getting too good nowadays. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Is that better? Is that better, Mike?
No, you're
No.
still frozen.
No, it's not.
You're still frozen.
You like,
make sure
your
you check
entire,
out Jack.
your entire like last 7-8 minutes. It's been frozen.
It looks
I'll
like you're
go back and watch
sleeping.
the video.
Yeah.
We got receipts on that too. Make sure you check out Jack SB on his channel. Jack SB, let's go.
Mhm.
And for more NBA ramble, make sure you check out Uncle Drewski on his channel, JAMM Packed NBA Ramble. From all of us at JAMM Packed, as always, be safe out there, be kind enough to one another, and we'll see you guys next week. Later, fellas.
Next week, boys.